Welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show. This is going to be a fun half hour because we're talking about food. We're talking about food blogs with three guys that are the kings of food blogs here in Arkansas. If you want to check out their blogs, you can go to Eat Arkansas. You can go to Arkansas Foodies. You can go to The Mighty Rib. And the men behind those, Daniel Walker.
Hello.
Good morning. Michael Roberts.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
And Kevin Shalin.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Well, here we have three very food-loving guys, very creative. Their blogs are, the thing I like about them, of course, it's about food, but you talk about them, you cook, and beautiful pictures. But the three of you are really great about encouraging each other and promoting each other. How did you guys meet, and how did you guys get into doing the food blogs?
I think that I'm actually the only one here who's a native Arkansan, and I've been doing it since 2010. And really, until these guys came to town, really knew a lot of people online, and but never really hooked up with a lot of them. Really, social media, I think, played the biggest role in getting us all to know each other. Even when Dan and I first started writing Eat Arkansas together, we hadn't actually met. We just read each other's work and stole from each other mercilessly a little bit. And,
Michael's a hermit, so we got him out.
No, well, Michael, you started yours with your wife at your kitchen table, and it kind of has grown from there.
Yeah, we weren't even married at the time, actually. It's kind of a hobby. We didn't have any money, and we cooked at home a lot and decided to make that our hobby. So,
And I got here last July in the summer and knew immediately where I needed to go to check out what was happening in the food scene here, and I started going to Eat Arkansas on a regular basis and commenting and reading all their stuff and commenting more, and then finding them on Twitter, and that's how we just kind of got to know each other. And Michael and I met at the Hillcrest Festival. He was judging for the queso contest.
Harvest Fest last year.
Yeah. So, and then I bumped into him there, and I said, well, what's this Dan Walker like? He's like, I don't know. I've never even met the guy.
That's not what he told me.
Yeah. And so we've remedied that, and gosh, we've spent a lot of time together this year. We do all sorts of things, meet for lunches, and just have really developed a friendship.
It seems like between the three of you and your different blogs, it's a good mix of, Michael, you tend to like to cook and put the recipes out there and the photos of it. Daniel, you seem to you like to go out to eat and write about what you eat. Kevin, you're a pretty good mix. But which do you like doing more? Do you prefer going out and having nice, fancy food? And you're a food critic, so Daniel, you go out and do undercover stuff. But what do you prefer? Do you like doing a little bit of everything?
Yeah, I do like doing a little bit of everything. I run whenever I go out to eat, maybe 3 or 4 nights in a row, then I'm like, oh, I've had enough of that. I want to start cooking. So, you kind of run the gamut of all that. But I like to, with my blog, I like to cover a little of everything. I do enjoy cooking. I do enjoy going out to eat. I love socializing. So we're always looking to meet up and go to events and meet different people. So yes, you're right. I like to do a little of everything. But I certainly like to cook, but I'm not as good a cook as this guy over here, Michael.
Michael's the star chef in the room.
Well, when we first started Arkansas Foodies, before we were writing for the Times, we did a mix of reviews, food festival write-ups, and the recipes. Since we started doing Eat Arkansas, pretty much all my reviews go to the Arkansas Times now because that's where the money's at. So it's nice to get paid for going out to eat.
That Max Brantley's just rolling in the dough, isn't he?
He gives it out to all of us. So all of the food reviews, whether it's we don't get a byline for some of the dining reviews we do, but Dan and I do quite a few of those. And then the write-ups for restaurants, I usually post there. That's kind of refocused Foodies to being more of a cooking blog, which is fine because I enjoy that too. So it's really, it kind of depends on what I'm in the mood to do that night. Some nights I'm tired, I go out to eat, and then I write it up.
And Daniel, I think one of the keys you've made in when you go out to a place, you mentioned the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it's not, but you're very straightforward in what it is, and a lot of times the service might be good and the food bad, and vice versa. And you're pretty straightforward in your critiques of restaurants.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that all three of us have really tried to do in all of our writing is just be completely honest. And I think we all feel that being honest about restaurants and being straightforward with the readers is going to help kind of push the food scene along more than just saying everything is fantastic. So we've all been really honest, and so I think that's really helped.
And I think the one of Michael's strong suit is, as we've said, you like to cook. You have a lot of recipes on there, and you take really nice pictures. And you actually, for the first time ever, I purchased parsnips and cooked them according to your recipe, and they're pretty good.
They're really good. And people, they look too much like carrots, and people think that they'll be carrots, but they're not.
Yeah.
And actually, I have to say this, or she'll get mad at me. My wife takes the pictures. I do not. Occasionally, I'll take one or two. They're the ones you probably didn't think were good. She has got a great eye behind the camera, so she's as much a part of making that blog successful as I am through the visual media.
Right.
So.
And Kevin, a lot of people might think your blog, The Mighty Rib, and you make a point several times. It's not all about barbecue. It's not all about barbecue. It's about a lot of different things. But what is the thing that you like to focus on? Like if you're sharing a recipe, I mean, what do you like to focus on and stress to people?
Well, I think, excuse me, my writing style is very conversational, and what I'm trying to do with my blog is appeal to your everyday foodie, not your quote-unquote food snob. I want someone to sit down and read my blog and say, you know what, I can do that. That sounds like a complicated recipe, but this is written in a way where I feel comfortable about trying it out myself. And it was one of the things that appealed to me about Michael's blog is that sometimes he cooks some complicated things, but he writes it in a way where I feel comfortable about trying it out myself, and I have tried out many of his recipes. Try his baked beans, by the way; they're amazing.
Don't they put beer in them?
Yeah, you soak them and cook them in beer.
Yeah,
I made them I had a little Super Bowl party.
His version of my recipe was better than my version of my recipe.
Yeah, it was.
I have to say that about him.
So yeah, I try to keep my writing very simple and to try to appeal to as many people as possible and to make the people feel comfortable when they're reading it. So.
Well, it's good. It's good to hear the personal side of what makes up the blogs and the people behind the blogs. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to hear some of your favorite places, some of your favorite parts of town to eat at, some of your favorite restaurants to go to. We're hearing it from the experts, and also some fun events we have coming up. The great thing about foodies and people who like to cook and people who like to eat, so many of these activities are for charitable purposes, which are nice. I know there's a lot coming up, but three of the phenomenal food bloggers here in Arkansas, Daniel Walker, Michael Roberts, and Kevin Shalin, are joining us here in the studio. When we come back, we're going to hear about some of their favorites across Central Arkansas. All that and more on 96.5 The Voice. Welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show. 719, 54 degrees in Central Arkansas. Look for a high today of 64. And we are talking food with three of the top food bloggers in the state, Daniel Walker, Michael Roberts, and Kevin Shalin. And you can find their blogs. You can go to Mighty Rib, or you can go to Eat Arkansas or Arkansas Foodies and find out more about their love of food. You can see some nice photos and recipes and the places to go. And if you read sometimes the places not to go. And speaking of that, we're going to talk about the best places in Central Arkansas to go. And you guys kind of have your own special parts of town. We're going to start with you, Daniel Walker. First of all, I'm going to preface this, that people need to know about Daniel is he's kind of got a sweet tooth.
True.
He kind of likes the sweet food, like the brownies and the cupcakes and all that. That being said, tell us what's your favorite part of town to eat and your favorite places to go.
So one of my favorite places is definitely the South Main Street area. I go there all the time with my wife. Or if we have a short time that we can just go out for a night, we love going to Loblolly Creamery. It's one of our favorite places. We have two little kids and they love it too. But they make small batch artisanal ice cream. And I'm infatuated with it. We go there way too often. The Root Cafe's down there, and they do great brunch, and I think the best burger in town. So we love that. And then I think that all three of us...
the other guys are shaking their heads. No, not the best burger.
It's good, but it's not the best.
It's good. Anyways, and they're doing that new Oxford American is coming there soon. Matthew Bell is going to be opening that. So I think we're
South on Main.
South on Main. Yeah. We're all excited for that. Boulevard does a great breakfast, so I think the South Main area is one of my favorites, and it's really becoming more revitalized, and it's becoming one of the hot parts of town.
Yeah, it's definitely good food, and I'm going to check out this Loblolly place.
Oh, you got to go.
Great ice cream. Michael, what about you? Your favorite part of town and favorite places?
I think my favorite part of town is the most underrated part of town, and that's Southwest Little Rock. I've worked on Asher Avenue, and now I'm on Forbing, which is even further into Southwest, right off Geyer Springs. If you want the cheap lunch part of town where you get delicious food for not a lot of money, Southwest is the place to go. There's a place down on Baseline Road called Eliella. It's some of the best Mexican food in town. I think five people ate there for about $40, and we all left stuffed.
And they've got like unique. It's not just your typical tacos and.
Well, it's traditional, authentic tacos, and I'm kind of a taco purist, and these guys give me a hard time for it. But my tacos are a tortilla, whatever your protein you're putting in there, and then a little bit of onions and cilantro, and I'm happy. And that's what you can get down there. Taco trucks are all over the place. Taqueria Samantha is, and next time you have Max Brantley on the show, ask him about Samantha. He's religious about it. It is some of the best food in town. Calientos is another taco truck. That down there is just amazing. La Regional, which is a Mexican grocery store, also has a little taqueria in the back. You can get some interesting things. Tripa and tongue and some other interesting foods you can't get anywhere else in town that scares some people, but it's really delicious. It's authentic, cheap food. You can get tacos for $1, and they're delicious. They're fresh made in front of you, and it's some of the best food in town. And a lot of people are, I won't say scared of that part of town, but they don't know that there's good food in that part of town. So
right.
go to Southwest.
Right, and the food trucks, those are getting more popular, and don't pass them by. It's good food. All right, Kevin, what about you? Part of town, favorite place?
Well, I live in West Little Rock, and I have 2 young children, and so sometimes I guess maybe it's by force that I have to love the restaurants in West Little Rock just because, they're close.
You're going to say Chuck E. Cheese?
No, you got me. Yeah, I was going to. No, one of the places, it's a real hidden gem, and just not that many people know about it in this town, and for good reason. It's in the kind of the basement of an office building, but it's been there forever, is Milford Track. And Kay over there, she's just the sweetest. She makes a handmade pasta every day. And they're open for lunch. They're open for like 3 hours on Saturday afternoon if you can't make it over there for lunch. And she just makes these different types of pasta and with different sauces, and they're all fabulous.
And it's in that office park, and it's a beautiful setting, and especially
really
this time of year, it's just beautiful.
It really is. You're right. I'm glad you brought that up because there's a little lake right by the office building, and it's one of the nicest things to do on a beautiful day is to eat some pasta or a nice sandwich and sit out by the lake. It's really underrated place. In West Little Rock, you cannot beat Guillermo's. It's the best cup of coffee. Definitely in Little Rock, maybe in the state. It's just a wonderful place, and not many people know that they make 3 or 4 different sandwiches for lunch every day. And I've had them all several times.
They're good,
and they're really good, especially the turkey panini.
The turkey is awesome.
Yeah, the turkey's awesome. And I got this tip from Mr. Walker over here. No surprise, there's a little bakery called Mickey's Special Affairs. And they obviously make great cakes, but they make cupcakes for $1. There's 2 types. There's a chocolate and vanilla cupcake for $1. Not many people know that. Daniel does, of course. And so I'm going to kind of recommend that. And my favorite place in Little Rock is the Pantry. I think it's the best restaurant when you take everything into consideration, the atmosphere, the price point, the quality of food. Tomas over there is about as nice of a guy as you're ever going to meet. And it's just a really wonderful eating experience. I've never had a bad meal there, and I just can't recommend that place highly enough.
And a lot of these places, that's one in particular, you walk in and just by the smell of the restaurant, you can tell if you're going to like it. And I've had that experience at the Pantry. It smells phenomenal, and they've got a good appetizer menu if you're just looking for appetizers, but the food itself is really good.
It's also one of the few restaurants still around where the owner and the chef will come by your table and ask you how your meal is, which is, to me, it's kind of a traditional way of doing things, and Tomas still does that. So,
and he's committed to doing everything in house, and he's a great guy.
Right.
Sat down with him a few times.
Right. It's over there off Rodney Parham. We're talking with Daniel Walker, Michael Roberts, and Kevin Shalin, food bloggers here in Central Arkansas. I encourage you to go to Mighty Rib, Eat Arkansas, and Arkansas Foodies and see their recipes and their critiques of the food and their pictures. It's really, if you like food, it's really neat to go see it. We've got just a couple minutes left. I want to go down, and like I said, a lot of what you guys do and people that are into food, it's for good causes or charities or just having different cooking events coming up. What do you guys have on the horizon? What kind of events coming up next?
Well, I'll talk about the Jumbo Gumbo cook-off. I know you had another amazing blogger here, Ton Rizzico, on your show not too long ago, and she was talking about it, but I'll emphasize it again. If you go to jumbogumboCookoff.com, you can buy tickets. The event is Friday, April 5th. It's coming up. Michael and I are going to be helping out with the judging for that, and it's for the event is for a great cause. It's helping out the Allen School, and it's going to be at the River Market.
Springtime is a great time for food festivals in Little Rock. I think my two favorite springtime festivals, April 28th is the Jewish Food Fest. They always have some fantastic food, both from the Eastern European Jewish culinary tradition and also from the Middle Eastern Jewish culinary tradition. So you can get a great deal. Greek Fest is May 17th through 19th. That's also wonderful ethnic food at the Annunciation Church.
I love getting those gyros.
Yeah,
and they always
the
get
lamb
a couple
sandwich
to go.
is a must as well.
Right.
And then I think, a good place to get a sugar buzz that I'm excited about is the Arkansas Food Blogger Bake Sale. Our friend Christy Isom at fancypantsfoodies.com is kind of putting that together, and it's basically going to be a big bake sale where a lot of celebrities and bakers and bloggers are going to be donating baked goods to benefit the No Kid Hungry. It's going to be Saturday, May 4th, down at the Argenta Farmers Market. So it's going to be a great way to get cupcakes and cookies, all for a great cause. So I will be there sucking down frosting like there's no tomorrow.
There's always good baked goods there, too.
Daniel eating cupcakes for a good cause.
Yes,
right,
I need a cupcake right now.
He does. He's not lying.
No, and those are all great things. There's also this, got this in the mail, the Furneaux cooking class. Donnie Furneaux always has these where people come and watch him cook. And this particular one, April 4th, from 6 to 8, is at the Ridge at Chenal. You can watch him cook some Mexican food. We've got about a minute left. Just real quick, let's run down the row here. And what's your next big item on your blog that people can look for?
Well, I know that Michael and I are going to Hillcrest Artisan Meats today. They're starting to do burgers, so Michael's going to write that up. I have a story I'm working up on a new food truck that's doing authentic Neapolitan pizza called Santa Lucia Pizzeria, so I'm very excited about that. So it's one thing I've got coming up.
I've got a piece in the Times, I think, next week about a new brewery opening up at 9th and Rock Street, Stone's Throw Brewing. Kevin and I went by there last Saturday to check them out. They're doing some construction work and going to be doing microbrew in that part of town. I'm pretty excited about it.
Good.
And I'm really infatuated with Frankie's chicken tenders, and I think the rest of the world needs to know that. I'm going to write a post dedicated to the chicken tenders, and I'm going to try to get something together regarding, we had a big dinner the other night at Ciao Bacci, 10 people, and I got to try out most everyone's food, and which is perfect when you're writing a restaurant review. So I'm going to try to cover that. Took some great pictures.
You're not just mooching food. It's part of your job.
Yes, he is mooching food.
Yeah.
Well, it's been fun. Daniel, Michael, and Kevin, thanks so much for coming in. Look forward to doing it again, and I'm sure we'll see you at one of these events coming up. Thanks so much for coming in. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Enjoyed it. Fun food talk with the top food bloggers.